We're celebrating the ultimate entrepreneurial dream, building a company from the ground up and achieving a monumental exit. We're talking with Sejal Shah, the visionary behind TotalMed, a healthcare staffing powerhouse. Sejal's journey from co-founder in 2005 to leading a thriving enterprise is a testament to the power of vision, hard work, and a dedicated team. Join us as we delve into Sejal's incredible story, his insights on building a successful business, and what it takes to achieve a life-changing exit. This is Sejal Shah, and this is the Disruptors.
Sejal, just for purposes of for people who obviously know you and so on and so forth, you started a business. Can you just kind of go through a little history? You're out of college with your college roommate and so on and so forth. Can you just go through a little history of TotalMed and how you guys got all started with all that stuff? Because I think it's actually a pretty fascinating story.
Sure. I mean, I got a job in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, at a company called Miles Kimball, and I was managing their entire database marketing and e-commerce division. And while I was out there, because I went to school at Ripon College, which is like 20 minutes away, a lot of the guys that I went to school with were there. So pretty much I was hanging out with them all the time. And one of the guys that I was hanging out with was Jason Beck. So
Who's here?
Right. Who's
Right.
here. And so it was actually Jason Beck and John went, and we would hang out all the time and just go out and paint the town and just have a great time. And naturally, when Jason and I would be, a few drinks in, you start dreaming, right? You talk about what could be, and we should do something. We should do something.
So you just, to interrupt, you just felt like being an entrepreneur was in your blood from day one. Because a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah. If you ask my parents, my family,
They were scared, weren't they?
they're scared. They did not like the fact that they think sales was one of the most what's the word? Not most unstable profession.
Of course.
And my parents came from India, so they're always looking for stability, income
100%.
stability.
I
My
wouldn't
dad
know
was an
what that
engineer.
feels
Yes,
Yeah,
we've
of
talked
course,
about
of
it a ton.
course. Yeah.
So anything to do, my dad wanted me to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Oh, shocker. Same
Yeah,
with my parents.
right. All Asian parents went doctors, and I was.
We
just
would
like,
be awful doctors.
awful.
I would feel so sorry for the patients. I'd
First
be
time-
like, you're dying, and sorry. There's just literally nothing.
Well, I kind of knew it was in my deal when the first time I had to cut an eyeball in high school, and
Oh.
we went, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
Not going to do this.
Right.
So then comp sci was the next thing, and so I was going to go down the comp sci major, but since I was a kid, I always gravitated towards sales type jobs. I started a little VCR business, repair business. So you got a manual, bought the kit, go around the neighborhood.
VCR.
Yeah. I don't know if kids even know what that is today.
No.
So just all these little gigs, and then I sold the paper at the Daily Herald. Started off in phones, telemarketing, then went to door-to-door sales, and then the guy was like, "Hey, you want to build a team?" So I'm in high school, and I'm building a team of people to go sell the newspaper door to door, and I would train them and coach them through it. And so sales was kind of always the fun part.
And it comes naturally to you.
It was
that without question. You were always looking in terms of how do those outcomes look better in anything we talk about, even with your party and so on and so forth. It's in your blood for sure.
Yeah, and I think there's always this inherent thing you control your own destiny, right? Like in sales, even the more you sell, the more you make, right? So that was always ingrained. That just felt like there was always upside. Whereas if you're in an hourly job, I always felt like I was capped. And so, just went to go to school for comp sci, and then quickly ended up pivoting into econ. And my dad's like, "What are you gonna do with an econ major now? I mean, what are you gonna do?" Right. It's like, "Well, I decided I changed my mind. I didn't want to be a comp sci major." And he's like, "No, I don't think it's that you changed your mind. I think you just went to the wrong school for comp sci." And I was like, "Yeah," and that was his take. But I got to tell you something. And I was just talking to my buddy about this the other day. I was like, out of all the things, right? He never said, "No, you can't go to Ripon." No, you can't go to this.
So he was always supportive, but he would question your decisions,
and
make sure those decisions were yours.
Right. That's the weird
great.
part. That's the weird
that's
part.
Cool.
It's hard to comprehend as a parent now how he could have just said no. Yeah. And you're not going here. This is what you're going to do. You're my kid. And so
And think about the risk he thought you were taking relative to that decision.
scared the crap out of him.
And so that takes a lot of composure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
So like now my oldest is going to be going off to college next year. And I purposely had to tell myself,
Chill. Yeah.
don't push, let him, just like my dad had given me those options, even though he like did everything he could to convince me otherwise, but he never said no. So I just tried to do the same for him. But I'm actually taking even more of a chill approach with my kids because, I'm fortunate. Like, they're amazing kids.
Yeah, terrific children.
They're driven. They have integrity. And, for the most part, they're very respectful.
And they're also very close.
Yeah. Yeah.
They like each other's company.
They do.
When we fast forward, the way I got to know Sejal is obviously through the business.
Yeah.
And then we became fast friends, and I consider you actually one of my closest friends. But you went through a large transition. Maybe for your children down the road when they watch this video or whatever the case may be, you went through a lot of emotions through that. Was it difficult for you to let go of the business and sell it? And how do you feel about it now versus back then? And how do you think about, for your own children, how you're going to pass on the legacy to them, not just financially, but, not but kind of more emotionally, because when you own the business, you're all in, and now that you've kind of, I'd love to hear that journey a little bit.
Yeah. So, when Jason and I, like I said, we were dreaming at the bar, figuring out we're going to do this, we knew we could do something. We knew there was talent here. And so we jumped in. We jumped all in. And so for 16, 17 years, we were out there grinding. But it was all based on us finding great people, putting them in positions to succeed, letting go, not micromanaging, but letting go and just being there more as supporters. And by the way, he was better at it than me. I was a micromanager. I was the guy that was every sale counted, and I was knee deep in it. And he was the guy. He was like he used to laugh. His joke would always be, "Yeah, I'm your interpreter. I'm the guy that keeps all the trains on the tracks, and I have to constantly interpret what you're trying to say to them, and back and forth." But the best part about it was we were just a good yin and yang.
I think so.
Yeah. And so as you're going through this, we've got our key leaders, our top guys have been here since the beginning. They have owned their roles and responsibilities. It's never been about me saying this is what you should do. They treat it like it's their business.
Yeah. And they do.
Yeah. And then they own it and they crush it. And they're going to make mistakes. We all do. And it's just learning from them and hopefully
do
not
they
making
miss
the same
you?
mistakes.
You sold the business. Do they miss you? Do you miss them?
Well, I'm still there. I'm still involved.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that day to day, you're still that engaged?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but 18 years later, it's not like they got it. They know what they need to do.
Right. They're almost like get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
Right,
That's
right.
literally what that's get out of the way. We got this, and you're just creating more anxiety and more, issues. And so my biggest thing that I've been working on for the last 5 years was letting go, trusting them, just every so often, let's talk, let's ideate, let's see if there's a different way to solve the problem. But they're just solid, right? So put that aside. We do a deal, right? And frankly speaking, I've been in the business for 18 years. We sold about a year and a half ago.
Correct.
Well, they were in the business that long too. So this would mean a lot for them because we gave a percentage of the company to all of the key people as well. So for them, this is a big moment as well.
Correct.
And so,
And I've seen some of their lives change too.
I mean,
New homes, things like that. New cars.
It's just
Cool.
It's
You've changed lives. You all changed each other's lives.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can feel that at this party because it's not a celebration of just you. It's a celebration of the partnership and friendship that you guys have had over the years. I feel it for sure. And I'm very blessed to be part of it. I know I was the number one guest actually asked, but no, kidding. But I mean, I feel everyone feels very special to be part of that. And I think it's great. And you have quite a lineup. We we did something upstairs in the poodle room, and I thought everyone just had a fabulous time.
I thought it was amazing.
Blow away
They were blown
room, wasn't it? It's really cool. And then, so Sage, you guys had this idea, right? And you said, we got to do something. And that something was TotalMed.
Yeah.
Kind of, guide me through, or what is TotalMed? How did you come up with the idea? What they do?
Yeah.
Just a little bit of that journey, so that, for people who witness this small interview, your family, friends, and so on and so forth, and just kind of meander in that river with me for a little bit.
Yeah.
So you started this company. It's called TotalMed. What is
Yeah.
TotalMed? Let's just start there.
So it's a healthcare staffing company, and then later we evolved into a workforce solutions company, and within the healthcare space.
And why did you feel that was important?
Well, Jason had a staffing background, and he's like, I don't want to go into IT. I don't want to go into commercial. So we're sitting there, and I'm like, well, let's go into healthcare. People are always getting sick.
Is that literally how
Baby
simple
boomers.
it was?
It was that simple.
There was no data. There was just like, let's just
There
go
was
to
no
healthcare.
data. No, it was just two guys saying, we can hustle harder and faster than everybody. Let's provide the best customer service, and let's figure it out. So literally we said, let's go into healthcare, baby boomers, you see all the trends, the shortages. It wasn't like this big data analysis. Seriously, it was just, let's give it a shot. And Jason, started out in Appleton, Wisconsin, just started pounding the phones, calling the hospitals.
Things to say. So you started cold calling. You started getting accounts.
Yeah, he just started getting accounts. And, it was tough. I had to bootstrap all of this. Like, I didn't have any kind of funding or anything like that. And banks, if you think about when we started, it was 2007.
Yeah.
So the whole crash, banks weren't lending. So I just had to find ways to borrow money, get money, credit card debt. I mean, I was $500,000 to $1 million in the hole. And it was all on everything from credit cards to all the debt. My houses were all mortgaged out, but I never let anybody know because I didn't want them to worry about that. Yeah. I wanted them to be focused on the business and just the task at hand. So I came on board. Jason, we were, he was getting the recs, but we were struggling filling him. Devin was born March 3rd, 2007. And I'm sitting in the hospital, and I had some time off. So I just was cold calling there, looking to help him recruit. And we finally had a conversation, and I said, okay, dude, I think it's just, we're not finding the right people to help fill this. And he's like, well, quit talking from the cheap seats. Why don't you get on board then? And so we talked about it. And I said, all right, if I'm coming on board, then let's just be on the same page. There's one main chief in the kitchen. Like, I'm the CEO, and it goes my way. He's like, done. And that was it. We never looked back. We just fired ahead. We started filling recs, started bringing in cash. And as you're growing your business, in the nature of our business, you need cash for payroll purposes. Like, you have to flow cash for 60 days. And that gets tough as you're growing, as it's hard to get money. So it took a while. I can't even tell you, just credit cards. Back in the day with the credit cards,
I know that
it was that you could do the 0 or 2%,
right. And then
you
have
can
to
roll
float and roll. Right.
So every time
and
you
we'll get
a new
another credit card and then change the balance.
Exactly.
I was
every
an expert
time,
in that.
That's exactly. And then they kept giving you bigger amounts. And
right.
so I was, and I
was
remember,
insane.
Yeah, it was insane. But I remember thinking, worst case, if this doesn't work, I'm talented enough to go get a job and pay all this off. It'll take me time, but I'll do it. It is what it is. But this is the stat. We got to go for it. And so we just jumped all in. And so now what happened is, as we're growing, as we're filling these recs, we have to start hiring people. And that was the hard part, is finding people who are as driven as you. Mm-hmm. And that's the hard part. So that sometimes is also the costly part, because how many people do you have to go through to find that person?
It's very difficult.
Yes, but when you find those people,
you got to lock and load.
Yeah, and Jason had this amazing network of people locally that had built a relationship that he figured out were very driven. The Dave Barses, the Chad Schulers, the Abby Dions.
And you can see it in their eyes even today.
It's their business.
It's their business.
It's their business.
They're so passionate about it.
They're passionate about it.
100%.
They go above and beyond in every aspect of their roles and responsibilities.
No.
So
They take it personally. When
It's personal.
No, I get that.
It's personal.
I've seen it. I've
own
witnessed it. Yep.
And then they built teams under them of the same mindset. So the hardest part was getting your head wrapped around how to scale. So our business is people driven and sales driven. So you're hiring recruiters, you're hiring salespeople. And I think one of the toughest parts when building this business is people tend to be too conservative. So for every, you hire a recruiter and then they produce and then you go hire another one. But if that person doesn't produce, then you have to let that person go and start over training someone new.
That's hard.
So now you're 6 months behind from
Yeah.
where you were because you expected
So
them
you
to be
really
somewhere.
have to be right.
Or
Or you're really
you take everything and roll it back in.
right.
So what we did was we would hire 3, knowing that one would make it out of the 3. And if the second made it, that was gravy. And the third made it, I mean, that's like a unicorn, right?
Right.
So we would actually invest twice as much, 3 times as much to cover that opportunity. And that's how we did it. And so that was one aspect of it. We scaled, so we kept rolling everything back. We didn't soak anything in. We were making nothing for the first 5+ years. You know what I mean? Almost 7 to 10 years, maybe even. And then as that started happening and we started scaling and we started growing, we started realizing that, okay, now we have to also introduce new business lines to create more diversification within the healthcare space. Can't put all your eggs in one basket of the nursing. And a lot of people were giving us advice like, no, just be ultra focused. But we just realized that we had the ability now to keep building talent that is so driven and successful that we can start adding these new business lines. And
Kind of create a flywheel.
right. So what ends up happening is like you've got this growth curve on one business product line, then I bring in another one, and as that starts to take off, then it starts to compound, right?
It's really cool.
And then in 2017, we were right around I think it was right around the 100 million mark, and we did an acquisition for a tech company. There was this amazing guy, his name was Steve Swan, and he had built this small, like $15 million company, but he was an IT developer guy, just a genius, an IT genius guy who, as he was starting a nurse staffing company, started going, wait a minute, this is so manual. Why am I doing this? So naturally, he would build solutions, tech solutions to automate that stuff. I saw him do more in 1 year than I couldn't find in the rest of the industry. So I said, hey man, let's join forces. So he graciously said, let's do it. I said, let's take your tech and apply it to a bigger platform. And can 1 + 1 = 3? And could that net you more money? And so he was bought into the vision, jumped on. He's here. So,
Yeah, great.
I saw him last night.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and that was it. And so
Then the unfortunate issue, the pandemic hit,
yeah,
and which was explosive for your business.
it was.
Actually.
Yeah.
But the bigger question I had was, were you ready for it? I mean, because you went from X to Y very quickly. Yeah. And I always wondered in the back of my mind, how does a company like that just handle that type of explosive growth? And was there anxiety over that? Because I never asked you that question, but that's something that was always in the back of my mind. Like, it's one thing to say, okay, this is happening, but did you have a kind of like the business vertebra to handle all that excess demand?
Well, you never really do. You know what I mean? Like, you can never prepare for or expect something like that or how to handle it. But it's a testament to the people that we had. You know what I mean? Because they seized the opportunity. So everybody was burning it on both ends. Everybody was jumping on board, doing whatever they needed to do. And we just kept hiring like
no
other. It was just, I mean, we were bringing on.
And I feel like that's kind of permanently changed the business, that post COVID, like on how you approach things, because you had to do things so fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it was interesting. So we made that major tech investment in from 2017 to 2020. So as the tech was getting, built, adopted, trained on, enhanced, then this happened. It was almost like the perfect, timing, because now we're scaling and now we have the tech to support the scale.
And that was a material advantage to you.
Material advantage.
Without question. I remember that.
Yeah, it was. And so that is how we were able to grow the business then another 5x, because it was
I mean, think about it, 5x later.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But all all because of the investments into people, the technology, the processes, but everything comes down to people. It's their commitment to winning, their commitment to success that makes all of this happen. And so we're just fortunate. And alongside this, I've had a supportive family, all the friends. These are my childhood buddies, my neighborhood buddies, my college buddies. I am who I am because of them, my family and all of them, because they influenced my journey to becoming who I am, my personality, my not so funny jokes.
Do you ever think you have it in you? Because, you go from 50, it's kind of a milestone. When you think in terms of when you're 60 or 70, do you think you'll ever start another business again? And then let me follow up with another question. Not only would you start another business again, would you think about doing something with your family, with your kids when they get out?
Well,
that's something that's on the brain.
Well, if they want to. So if my kids want to do something,
are you encouraging it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm not pushing it.
No.
I'm supporting.
But you're there. So,
I'm there.
Hey, look, if you wanted, but because I notice your kids do talk about becoming entrepreneurs.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
So I think that chapter could be a lot of fun, and then you can kind of walk them through that.
Yeah.
How involved would you be?
However involved they want me.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I'm a big believer in karma and pay it forward, and so I do have a bunch of other peers that I love to help. Sometimes some of them ask, "Hey, do you want to be on the board?" Or I'm like, no, I don't want to be on the board. I just if you need help, I'll help you. I don't want any expectations. I do it on my own. I just want to do it on my own timetable, but that's fun.
Sage, I just want to let you know that it's been a real pleasure getting to know you as a person. Everything you say is very authentic. It's very true. I think personally, knock on wood, the best is yet to come for you.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about your journey, and I'm excited about sharing it with you. And I think you have just an amazing family. You have amazing friends. I was very happy to be included and invited here. But on a more serious tone, I just think the stage is really now set for you for the next 5 to 10 years, 20 years, whatever the case may be, for some really cool things to happen. And I think what's great about your personality and the way you think about things is the upside is completely unlimited.
Yeah.
And you allow that journey to kind of just happen for you. So once again, happy birthday.
Nice. My next project is TurboTech. And
Total Tech.
And Brock Bauer is spearheading that, and he's just crushing it.
Correct.
And he's just, it's like great.
You're just never going to end being an entrepreneur.
No, but I don't have to be in the day-to-day grind now.
Correct.
I mean, you find the right people and they own it and run with it, then all you're doing is just providing support whenever they need it. So.
Well, for another chapter, for another day.
Yeah.
But best of luck to everything. And tonight we're going to just have a wonderful time. And again, happy birthday, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
The Disruptors from the Fontainebleau Las Vegas Resort.